everybody. Happy Friday. This is Katrina, one of the hosts of Steph and Cat Talk Wow. I am also hosting creator of In Cat We Trust, and I am here on another fabulous interview for Women's History Month. I am joined by Genesis of the group Exile of WoW Superheroes. How are you today, Genesis?
Hi, Kat. I am doing very well. Excited that you finally have, one of the best wrestlers in WoW on your show. It's really good to
Yes.
see.
Loving the energy already. Nice. And so my first question to you is when me and Steph were introduced to WoW in season one of this iteration, you were within a group with Malia Hosaka as well as Exodus and you. And so it seemed with her leaving, you kind of stepped up as the leader of Exile as far as kind of letting it be known that you're in charge, but also that you can take on a leadership role. And so, was this something that was a hard adjustment for you? And what was the reasoning behind deciding that this was the best move for the group?
That's a really good question. It's people telling me that I've stepped up into this leadership position. So I guess it just happened naturally to me, I would say. I've been with Exile from the beginning. And, once we had changed and there was no longer Malaya, and now Ice Cold was brought into the mix, I just felt the main thing behind my pushing Exile to be to lead the team is the fact that we need everything that we have done, everything we've sacrificed, everything we've worked for to be worth it. And I just felt like we hadn't been winning. We'd been losing on quite a bit of a streak, not working cohesively together in the ring. And so I did what I had to do. I'm here to win. I'm here to show that Exile should be at the top of the roster. We should be first choice as contenders for the titles. And so I did what I had to do. And now here we are. We're finalists in the trios tournament. And who knows where that's going to take us. So, I mean, yeah, if I'm the leader, I'm the leader. But I do what I do for Exile.
I love that. And so, were there some differences? Again, as a group, you would hope in any group you work together to get like a common goal. But then there's also a difference between kind of playing the back just a tad and then also taking the lead. What were some things you learned, I guess, previously being semi, and I don't want to say necessarily you were in the back because it's not that, but just like maybe stepping back a little bit when Malia was there to now kind of now with the leadership role, what are some things you learned between those two differences in the group?
Well, I definitely think when there's a veteran, a pioneer of women's wrestling, you need to shut up and respect and like learn because, I was very new, and I was grateful to be in a team and I just wanted to grow. But now that, current situation of our team is what it is, I feel like I have what it takes to push us forward and now I'm not afraid to use my voice and say what I think needs to be done. So that's probably the main difference is that now I'm trying to call the shots to do whatever it takes to get us over the line to be champions.
Okay. And so one of the things we definitely noticed, Ice Cold, who has previously floated about with some different people, and wow, this is something me and Stephanie have talked about a great deal, just like it felt like she was trying to figure out where she stood as where she belonged. And wow, it does seem now she finally has to got her footing. I feel like she's finally feeling like she's gelling with the team. And it took a little minute. We was like, okay, what is she doing? Is she like really invested? And it seemed like now you guys have a rhythm with her as well. And so what was something, I guess, about Ice Cold that you felt was great for the group? But what are your thoughts as far as her also kind of finally I feel like you guys are all finally on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Ice as well for a while as she was sort of figuring out her footing. She started out as a singles competitor, and then oh gosh, who was she with Samantha Smart's team for a while? Well, I think she realized in herself that she wanted a team that was gonna do whatever it took to win. and also who knew what it was like to be exiled, to be on the outside, to not really belong and not really know where you're supposed to go or what you're supposed to do, which is kind of the heart of our team. We're a group of outsiders that found each other and had a point to prove and wanted to use each other to help elevate and like be as good as we could. So I think I've made the best decision she could have. And she honestly has brought another level of wrestling to our team for sure, because she's an ex-Olympic weightlifter. She's a true athlete. She's a gymnast. She can do a lot of things that we can't. And so we're very, very grateful to have her.
Oh, I love that. I didn't even know she was a power lifter. I feel like I knew about the Olympic, but that's awesome. I,
Oh
I
yeah,
love
she's
that.
insane athlete. And Exodus is, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Like we have master athletes here. And I'm happy to lead them where I need to lead them.
So I have to ask, just because I'm always curious when anybody steps in a wrestling ring, was wrestling something you always wanted to do, or was it something that kind of clicked a little later on and you were like, yeah, I can kind of do this. I can step in the ring and show everybody what I got.
Mhm. Well, for me, I'm definitely someone who did not come from a wrestling background or a family who knew and watched it. I'm from a very, very small town in Australia, so we had 4 channels. Wrestling didn't really come through to us. So I only found out about it when I got older and also when I moved to the US. I started being curious about it because I'd seen people do it and I was starting to watch it, and I was just like, it's everything I like: martial arts, entertainment, fighting, all in one. And then so it was fate or chance, but I got the opportunity. I found this tryout and I was like, let me go for it. Let's see what, Wow Women of Wrestling is all about. And then from there on, it's just been an adventure of learning, of ups and downs. But, the heart of it is being with an amazing company that really, really, supports all sorts of women, all looks, all ages, races, sizes, and that sort of thing. At the end of the day, is what really attracts me to to our company. It was that it's just so cool to see so many different athletes, and now I'm on a tag team with 2 incredible athletes. So yeah, that's how I got my foot into wrestling. Definitely not didn't come from it, but now I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I didn't even know you were from Australia, but I hear the accent now, so it's like
Yeah, maybe it gets a bit all muddled as I've been in LA for so long now, but I think it's still there.
So yeah, you mentioned WoW just being a place, and I say this all the time, anytime I'm talking about it, just that's something I appreciate as a wrestling fan. Just being able to see a company or a promotion where you can kind of see everything and not one specific box. We literally have every type of a wrestler you can probably think of, and WoW we have.
Mhm.
And so, what are some of your favorite things about working at WoW Wrestling and just being around that group of women?
Yeah, I mean, it was exactly that. I mean, while we don't always all get along, like that's not the point. It's just there's such a level of respect for each other, and just being amongst so many different people from different backgrounds, very, very interesting women, and who've overcome so much to do what they do. I can't imagine it's been easy for anyone to say, I'm going to do wrestling. I'm going to put my body on the line. I'm going to spend hours of time in training, in traffic to get to training, spending time in the ring, getting injured. It's all part of it. And so I think just being in that environment, you're with a group of women who have, something different about them, something extra and exciting. And that is definitely my favorite part about WoW, the women who are involved, who are on the roster. And I'm not going to get too mushy because it's not like I get along with all of them and I want to be everyone's friend, because at the end of the day, I'm here to win and I'm gonna win. But they're a great group in general.
Definitely agree there. I took a bump like last year for the first time just to kind of get, and I was like, oh my God, I can't, like that's not
Really? You got in a
yeah.
ring and took one? At least you took one.
Yeah, because I do like backstage correspondence and like ring announcing and stuff. So for me, I'm like, all right, let's see. So people's like, are you gonna wrestle? I was like, I don't know, guys. I took one bump and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna stick to what I'm always doing in the background. That's not for me. And so anytime I ever see people taking bumps, but women in particular, and I say this just because I feel like sometimes it's a bit dismissed on how hard we work in our fields, whatever that field may be. And so it's always I'm
Mhm.
just always so like I think it's so cool that women who just take the bumps and kind of just get out there. And I'm like, oh, I can't even do this. So like
Yeah.
power to any women wrestler who's just sitting in there and again putting their body on the line.
I definitely agree. I think you're from your first bumps or your first day of training, that's like the make or break, where you decide, do I really want to do this day in and day out? Feel this sore, feel that stiff mat below you. Is this what I want to do or not? And then when you decide to do it, you know you're with other women who have made that same choice. And yeah, I think it's definitely something to be recognized. Like women that are willing to do that, it's pretty cool. And even look, even you decided not to, but hey, you do just as much for wrestling as anyone. So still good.
So my next question for you is we are currently at the trios tournament, kind of going through there were some differences with even change in members of teams, but you pretty much kept your team the same during this tournament. And so what was your game plan, I guess, getting ready for the tournament and you're now made it basically to the finals. And so what was your game plan leading up to where you guys are now? And was any of the tournament difficult for you for yourself, but also for you and your team?
Um, Yeah, that's a really good question. So prepping for it, yeah, like I said, I feel like Exile has been one of the only actual trios groups in WoW at the time before the trios tournament was announced. So all the other teams, had to pull one extra person on or find, their third. We are a trios team. So I felt like this tournament was built for us. We have the most in-ring experiences as a trio. So that side of it, I think that's why obviously I had my team ready, set to go. And then any difficulties along the way? Yeah, there were some. I mean, we had to, we still have our issues in ring sometimes when people don't listen to me, when my plans don't happen as they should. But luckily, we've been able to recover and we haven't dropped the ball in this tournament. And so that's what's most important. At the end of the day, whatever I say and do, I do it for the good of Exile. And I think my team knows that.
Yeah, no, you guys, you definitely are the trios that we've noticed. And kind of stayed the same. Because there were some times there were like certain weeks you're like, oh, this person changed the members, I guess, or got like another shot. And I feel like with regards to Exile, you guys kind of had to stay like with no extra necessarily opportunities, mostly just making sure your team did what was necessarily to get to where you guys get to. And so that's definitely something.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah, we
definitely
are
something I
Exile. It
noticed.
is just our same team in the trios. So we've got that chemistry, we've got that in-ring experience. So it's just about executing, taking it home.
Yes. And so, just a quick side away from wrestling, it is Women's History Month. And so, what is one of your favorite things about being a woman? I think we are super badass. And I say this with tooting the horn all the way, but I feel like we literally do so many things and wear so many hats and multitask so many things. And sometimes you can't even tell that we're doing all those
Mhm.
things. And so, what is something you love about being a woman?
I was gonna say basically what you covered at the end of there, just like the ability, I don't want to make it sound so like low, but just the multitasking ability that women have. I can just attest for our own show. Wow, we have people with careers in different fields. We have moms, we have people who are caring for others, who are all managing to wrestle at the same time and put on an amazing show and train and do everything that it takes to be a superhero, and they do a million other things. And, that's kind of my favorite part, I would say, about being a woman is to not just have not be blocked by just one goal. Like we manage to make it work in whatever situation gets thrown at us. And it's not easy. but we genuinely do it, without complaining, because when we want to do something, we execute. And I can attest to that for like all the women on the WoW roster. For better or for worse, whether I like them or not, they are tough, tough people.
Yes, we are definitely a lot stronger than sometimes we're given credit for.
Mhm.
So,
That's true.
so, yeah, again, you are at the finals for the trios tournament. Do you have any words? Because you do have a team across from you, a team that has had a couple of little snafus along the way leading into this. And so, do you have any words for them, but also for any of the women on the WoW roster?
Hmm. Any words? What would I tell everyone? I should look right in the camera and say this. So, guys, the trios tournament, everyone, I can see you trying to make your trios team, but you forget that Exile is the trio of WoW. We have the in-ring experience, we have the drive and the hunger to win it. So it's going to be a fun night, but just get ready to, get ready to wave Exile's name in the air, because we are taking that trophy home.
Oh, I love that. Love that was super confident. I love,
I mean,
love that.
I just know we're going to I know we're going to win it. So I'm very excited. We worked so hard. It's going to be great.
Yes. And so I wanted to thank you for coming on Steph and Cat Talk. Wow. Can you tell everybody where they can find and follow you on social media?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram at Genesis_wow. I'm also on Twitter at Genesis_wow Wow Entertainment. And you can find me there and get ready for lots of posts about being champions.
As for me, I am on most social media in Cat We Trust, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. The E is a 3. And you can also follow my co-host Stephanie at the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. She's so sorry she could not be here. Work has called, so she could not be here today. She was very sad about that. But we are super grateful that you came on Genesis just to even chat with me. But for all of you guys, anytime we get to talk to you guys, we are such fans of WoW and what you ladies are doing. And I feel like we shout it all the time, like, y'all want a women's promotion? Well, you better get to watching WoW and catch it on all the ways you can catch it, CBS, Pluto TV. And so we're just super grateful for you guys as a promotion. And thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you so much, Kat. It's been great talking to you. And thanks to Steph as well. Appreciate having such like really great support from you guys. It does mean a lot to all the girls.
Thank you. Okay, guys, until next time, we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.